So, Sarah, it's an obvious question, but it is an historic night for women, being a UFC main event and co-main event. How do you feel about it?
I'm really excited about tonight. I mean, I think to see, a teammate of mine, Holly Holm, in the co-main event, there's so much hype behind her, and it's well-deserved hype. I'm really excited for her to put on an amazing performance that everyone is going to be talking about. And then to follow that right away with the Ronda Rousey versus Kat Zingano fight, co-main and main with such high-level athletes. It really is a historic night, and it's something that's not going to be forgotten anytime soon.
As someone who has been fighting for so long, how did you feel with Holly coming in and already being ranked in the top 15? I believe she's number 13. Do you think that's correct?
I really do. I think that Holly deserves every ranking that she has, and I think tonight is really going to prove why. She has that hype behind her. Anything can happen in a fight, and Raquel is a very tough opponent. But at the same time, Holly, she's developed her ground, her wrestling. She's so athletic, and she's so dedicated to being better every day. And I think that work ethic is really going to really prove to everyone why she is ranked where she is. And I could see her within the top 10 very shortly.
And I didn't want to imply that she hasn't been fighting. It's just that, you get to come in and be ranked like that. What is she like in terms of a puncher? You've been punched by her. How hard does she hit compared to some of the other women you faced?
Holly, as I say, is an incredible athlete, and she's a tank. In the best possible way. She's very feminine, but all of her musculature is so well developed over the years that she's been working with Jackson and Winklejohn. And it's just amazing to see her physical specimen come in and really translate that into pure power and speed. And she's in, she's out, she's moving all the time. And she's crafty. She has these kicks. She kicks you in the face, she kicks you in the body and the legs. They come from all angles, and she sets them up so well that to see that power coming in behind all of the crazy technical base that she has, it's really fun to spar with her, but it's not easy.
What do you think is going to be the main fights tonight?
I definitely think that Ronda is going to be taking home the belt once again. I think Kat is a worthy opponent, but I do think that Ronda's ability to start the fights fast, as well as just focus so strongly right off the bat on what she wants to accomplish. She has that mental mindset that's just out there, and it's very strong. And when she comes in, she does what she wants to do, and I don't think Kat has that same mental fortitude.
So we had Cyborg fighting on Friday. We had Jessica Ai that was just back here at H.E.A.T. All of them are saying they're next, or they're high, or they should get a title. How do you see it? Like, where do you see yourself in the title picture? Who do you think's next? And who should be the next to fight Ronda?
I would love to be, of course, the next person to fight Ronda after I fight Alexis on UFC 186. But I do think that the likelihood is that they're trying to find people who haven't yet challenged Ronda. So, they're trying to build up these fighters, and Betch, Jessica Ai, I think that I beat both of them, and so of course I think that I should get that title shot, but I also understand you want those exciting fights, you want the build-up, you want the hype, and I want to have those fights. Seeing how things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Betch and Jessica fighting, and the winner of that gets a title shot. I don't necessarily think it's deserving. They should be fighting rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, rank 4 to get a title shot.
So many people get ahead by mouthing off, and you're a person who has always kind of come off very respectful and maybe not asking for something you don't believe you deserve, not want to put words in your mouth. But do you feel a sense of, I don't know, with this next generation of fighters, not even just women, but in general, that the mouthing off is a part of the game now, as important as what you do with your hands and feet?
I think ultimately the best thing is performance in the cage. If you can back it up in the cage, you can say whatever you want prior to the fight. If you just back it up in the cage and you don't really have anything to say positive or negative before the fight, you're going to get recognition, but it's going to take a little bit longer. I think Rory McDonald is a good example of that. He really hasn't talked any smack. He's had some great performances. He's fought such tough guys, and he's finally getting his title shot, which I think is great. But at the same time, he probably could have gotten there faster had he been willing to kind of step outside of his own box. You're seeing with Conor McGregor, that kind of trash talk, and it's not even necessarily trash talk, it's just he's so confident, he's cocky, he has he has kind of a magnetism to him that's bringing you in, and that ability, along with the performance in the cage, I think is where you're seeing kind of the future of becoming a star in MMA going.
Well, we saw Jessica Ai here a little while ago, and that's why I wanted to ask, because after your fight, some people thought that she should have shown you a little more respect, and that as a woman who has been around for so long, that she should have at least admitted, you know, some positive things to you, and she really didn't think she needed to do that, because she said she's been around a long time as well. Did that bother you at all, the way that she handled your fight and what happened after?
You know, I think there was a lot of mess that went on with that fight. You know, I won that fight. I know I won that fight. You know, everyone else knows I won the fight, but it's also judging, and don't leave it up to the judges. It's, you know, it's my fault in that sense. You know, I don't think she handled it well. I don't think that she represents herself that well. But I also think that that's who she is as a person, and if that's how, you know, she kind of has that Cleveland attitude, or if that's a thing, I don't know if it is. You know, she's not my cup of tea. I wouldn't be friends with her. But at the end of the day, we get in the cage, and the next opportunity I get to punch her in the face, you know, I'm taking it. For money, not in the street.
So you make the video with Miesha, and you get the trilogy with Alexis. How did you feel when they called you with that matchup?
You know, I knew Miesha, having been off for, you know, injury's sake, it might be a little while, but Miesha got online and said, "Hey, H.E.A.T, let's take this fight, let's make this fight happen." And to me, that's like, no, you know, you've been talking trash at me, calling me out, saying, "Let's fight." I get online, I want to make it happen, and she backs away, you know. So to me, that's the kind of cowardly move, and I'm ready. You know, I've been sitting and waiting and trying to get any fight I can. I mean, clearly I'm not going to push to get Alexis, because we've already fought twice, and you know, I don't really think that it's a fight that does a lot for my career. It's an exciting fight for the fans, and maybe we get, you know, a 50-grand bonus out of it. But at the end of the day, Alexis is a really tough fight, and Miesha is an easier fight for me. So it's a bigger fight and an easier fight. Why wouldn't I take those two things? And it was really fun to smash a lot of cupcakes.
How many did you smash?
I messed up a few times. I may have smashed 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you surprise you, or did you anticipate her coming back with the I think it was the X-ray showing the injury? Did you anticipate that?
Well, she didn't actually come back with the X-ray until after my fight with Alexis was booked. It was crickets for, you know, a week and a half, and then all of a sudden, as soon as my fight's announced, then she comes out of the woodwork to say, "Oh, well, my eye's broken, so there you go. Ha, be relevant." You know, and she should have done that before. You know, would have hyped the fight, but she doesn't want the fight. So it's that simple. She does stuff after the fact to make sure that she doesn't have to take the fight.
What makes you say that Miesha Tate is an easier fight? Is there anything in particular?
I mean, I just think Alexis has proven to be very durable. You know, I think maybe that durability is starting to go a little bit. You know, I fought her twice already, and I've done a lot of damage, probably to her little brain. But at the same time, you know, I think it's like it's one of those things where, you know, at first she was really tough. You know, it's kind of like that jar, you know, where you can't open the jar, you hit it with the knife a few times, you loosen it up, you hand it to someone else because you can't do it, and all of a sudden, you know, pop, there it comes off. And so, you know, potentially maybe that's what happened with Ronda. You know, I think that Ronda did a great job in that fight with Alexis, but at the end of the day, Alexis is so durable. And I think that is one of her biggest strengths. She usually has very good cardio. She pushes the pace and kind of keeps it always the same. You know, she can go at 70% for 100 years. And that in itself it makes for a tough fight. She's on the feet, she's on the ground. You know, she's very skilled everywhere. Whereas Miesha, you can hit Miesha, and I don't think she likes it as much. She's really tough. You know, she broke her orbital bone in the first round and fought through, you know, and won the fight. So there's no denying that. But stylistically, I think that matchup-wise, Miesha's striking versus Alexis' striking matches up better with me. And then I just think that I can break Miesha.
Would you take that fight after the Alexis Davis fight, if it were to come up again?
I want that fight. April 26th, after I beat Alexis, I want to have the contract to fight Miesha Tate that day.
How likely do you think that is?
I don't know, but I want to make it happen. So if I have to keep smashing cupcakes, I'll do it. I'll throw cupcakes at the crowd. I'll do anything.
And now this is the third fight. Does that make it easier for you? Do you think you know her well, or do you think it's just as difficult or even more difficult?
I think that this is a lose-lose for me in that, I'm supposed to beat Alexis. I've already beat her twice. But as I said, she's a really tough opponent. She's game. She's going to come in. She's going to be training hard. She's going to be hungry after her last loss. And so for her to come back after her loss with a win, to beat me, you know, if we've already fought 2 times, you know, those are all wins for Alexis. My win is that I'm going to be number 3, Miesha's number 2, and I'm going to get that fight.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.